Okay, we'll call this meeting to order, the July 13th Lisle Township meeting. And we'll start with the pledge of allegiance to the flags. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And then Clerk Pollitt will set the roll call.
Great. Supervisor Hewitt.
Here.
Trustee Rose.
Here.
Trustee Geis.
Here.
Trustee McGovern. Here. Trustee Page.
Here.
Assessor Trowbridge.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Young.
Thank you. Then I will share my screen and show, are there any public comments in person? Okay, and just to be clear, in attendance here is also William Green in Zoom land. In the other part of the office, really. And then we have, as you can see, with responses for public comment, 0 responses. Okay, then we'll go to the approval of the May 11th minute meetings.
To approve the minutes from May 11th.
Thank you, Trustee McGovern. And any seconds?
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Rose. Any discussion?
I thought we paused on approving these last month because we had to have discussion. So is that discussion no longer required?
I think the discussion has been had among a number of people, but we can keep discussing.
No, I was just asking for clarity's sake. Okay.
Yeah, so we're just wanting to make sure that we're accurate in reflecting the outcomes and what happens in a meeting. Any other discussion or questions? Great, and then a roll call vote.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Aye.
Trustee Rose.
Aye.
Trustee Geis.
Aye.
Trustee McGovern.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Great, the minutes for May 11th are approved. Next, we have the minutes for June 8th.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Trustee Page, and then
I will second.
thank you, Trustee McGovern. Any discussion? And then a roll call vote.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Aye.
Trustee Rose.
Aye.
Trustee Geis.
Aye.
Trustee McGovern.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Aye.
Wonderful. It's very exciting to say that, and I can't tell you how relieved I am in saying that we now have a new website. So when you go to LisleTownship.com, we have this lovely new website. And I'm just going to share from the home page. What we've managed to do is when the highway department gets their new website, then it'll be redirected right from here, the services, and then it's also redirected at the very first page at the home page. So if you go to highway, or if you go to, like, for example, with the assessors, you go immediately to the assessor's website. So whenever the highway department is done, it'll just immediately link over. But back to our wonderful the township site. A lot of things have been really worked on in the last month. In particular, there were so many pieces of the documents being transferred that really took some time to transfer over properly so that they were user-friendly, easy to maneuver, easy to update from a management perspective. So now when you go to April 22nd, it redirects here. That way you can see exactly what you might want to download or not. In the ones in the previous year, you go to any of the different months, and we've all made sure that these buttons work. It's amazing how many different ways things can get disconnected in a website. But anytime you touch one of these, then all the files are zipped into a folder and then downloaded onto your computer. So we have all of the past years of board meetings in particular. Our calendar needs, we're going to be continuing to update it, but it has been linked with our website or with our Google Calendar, so that when you push on something, we're going to fill it with the community events. But now you can transfer it onto your Google Calendar. And then there's a variety of different pieces of redundancy. So the new section is like the blog section. So it will have information about the meetings, about any events that are happening in the township. So any news items that any department or any trustee wants to let us know about, we can put here. On the first page, not to miss anything, there's two pieces of the page that have really been helpful. We have a sign up in case you want to sign up for a newsletter that's going to be on a digital email that's going to be sent about once a month. Then we also have the ability to contact us right from here. Clerk Polowitz and I worked to make sure that the clerk's office, when you go here, you can see the clerk's page, and then also the FOIA is in a few different places to make sure that you can always find the ability to FOIA. And at the bottom here, there's a variety of places where you can constantly see another department. And then when it comes to the services, everything has a drop-down menu. So it's all pretty intuitive. And then let's see here. Those are the main features. What I'd like all of the board members to do in the community in particular, give us feedback. Anything that you see that could be improved, we're looking for any play with it, figure out, if something isn't firing the way that you'd like to. One piece to note is, and this is really great that it's already happened. There was it says it may say insecure for some people, but it's already fallen off. It takes sometimes 48 to 72 hours for it to fall off, but it actually already fell off, which is beautiful. So the HTTPS right before then, that's some of the transition that happens in moving to a website. The other piece, and anytime you're transitioning to a website, is has to refer to the emails. So all of our emails were attached to our former host. And what we're doing is we're doing our website and our emails in a two-part process. So for the first, now that the website is up, we're going to take 2 weeks for the website to make sure that it's stabilized. Jerry Marquardt is our technical advisor and worker, and he's going to handle the emails himself. And so to make sure that everything transitions without any hangups, he said that what they'll plan to do is on a Friday in 2.5 weeks, they'll do it over the weekend to make sure that there's no interruption in emails. So that's how the emails are going to be handled. Any questions right now?
Have you tried it out on the cell phone yet?
Yes.
I have.
Oh, you have? Oh, look good.
And that's one of the things that we need to know. So it looks different on different browsers. It may function differently with different browsers, with different, like an iPad versus a laptop versus a mobile device. We just want to make sure that it's as useful and user-friendly as possible, and that it can be used on all the different social medias that we're looking to use it, whether it's a paper newsletter, whether it's a digital email, whether it's adding things to social media. This way, this is really the cornerstone of our communications, because everything can be referred back to here.
Looks good.
Wonderful. It's very exciting. I can't tell you how much I've learned and how many complications we've worked through, but it's been a lot of excitement. Okay. Clerk Polowitz will be given access and more training, since more things have been uncovered and discovered in processes in the last month. So I'll be sure to meet again with Clerk Polowitz, and the future executive assistant will be likely the caretaker of our general website. But like I said, if Assessor Trowbridge or Commissioner Young have anything to add to any section, just let us know and we'll make sure that it happens. Wonderful. Well then, moving on to our mosquito abatement update. Let me share the screen.
You were the individual that was putting the pellets
Yes,
in the manholes.
yes.
That had to be fun.
It was very interesting, I have to admit. It was like trick or treating for finding the mosquito or for the catch basins.
How did you find out where the catch basins were?
So I drove around in the car, in the van, and found them, located them by site. I had spoken with the DuPage County Sewer and there's a multi-part section of DuPage County stormwater maintenance. And they were saying that they don't have an accurate mapping of the catch basins. So we now have a map that is easier to then find them, which was very helpful to have done.
You developed that map?
Yes.
And what software did you?
I'm actually just doing it with Excel because there were about 280 places where we put the larvicidal bricks. We were trained by the Illinois Department of Public Health.
And you found 280 catch.
That's an estimate. I can tell you a more precise number with the map. The map will be available. We're trying to make sure that it is easier to follow. Right now, it was a description, and I need to make it more user friendly. So I'm sure in a little bit of time, it will be more user friendly. Okay, then our partners are keeping us up to date with sharing information with regards to Zika and West Nile sightings and in places where there have been issues. Okay, then any questions?
Has anything been detected, either Zika or West Nile, with especially the dry and then the rain and then dry again?
I haven't been alerted to anything from our different partners yet.
Thank you.
And as soon as we get any alerts, we'll keep you all posted. Update on the food pantry. We have served 2,395 people in the month of June. That is about 200 more people than last month. So we're continuing to climb in our need. We'll continue to have more graphs showing the exact need of people being served, households being served, and children under 18. There were 360 people under 18, or sorry, 757 under with children under 18, and there were 360 households. So the need is definitely increasing. Any questions there?
How's our supply?
We're working.
Because the need is increasing, so I'm just curious, are we keeping up with it or?
We're working with the Northern Illinois Food Bank. Chris is I'm blanking on his last name, but Chris is our liaison with Northern Illinois Food Bank, and he's a trainer that's working with Charlie to make sure that our inventory practices are as good as possible. One of the things that we just picked up was a new delivery by Amazon. That new Amazon Fresh has been extremely generous with us. And there was last month, you remember how you told me that there was
The banana, the Guinness Book of like the world's largest fruit stand or something, right?
yes, in Darien, that we
It's in
actually,
Westmont.
Westmont,
I happened to be passing it.
and Charlie
I
was
got a lot of
there
bananas.
and got a lot of bananas and brought them back.
That's awesome.
So one of the other things that has happened is a number of community events have taken place. The Park District and State Representative Tara Costa Howard did a food drive last week with a blood drive. And then the food pantry obviously was donated those supplies. So it's really an ongoing thing where we are working with the Friends of Lisle, figuring out how we can increase the donations and volunteers as well. So
Do we need volunteers?
we definitely do. And in the supervisor's report, we're going to be talking about in a variety of places on the website, it has places where you can volunteer.
Okay.
There's a new sign up for doing so. The main places right now where we are accepting volunteers are in the food pantry, community vegetable garden volunteer with people like Trustee Page, helping tutor students during the school year with people like Trustee McGovern. Assist the police chief of Lisle gave us a call and wanted to figure out, and he's the former police chief before the current one had actually called before this as well, asking about if we had any extra volunteers to assist seniors, disabled or needy people with lawn care or snow shoveling. So we're trying to figure out if there is any community desire to help on this front, and we're trying to organize them.
I love that idea because obviously there's people who can't get out and get those, the grass cut. That could be a real issue, and there's fines that come with that. I bet the teams with character would probably work with that.
I bet my boys play video games.
And there's a lot of like kids or young people that need to get hours for,
High school kids.
What-
Club.
yes.
Yeah.
So we would love to be pairing with as many different groups as possible. We also on our website have a partner form. And that's because we've been working more and more with different townships and with different municipalities or different governmental agencies or organizations. So we're looking, if anybody comes to us and we're trying to figure out, okay, how can we partner with whatever need or program we can.
You have a typo right there, just want to make a note of it.
Where?
Assist seniors the second.
Thank you. Oh, I'll come back to
Just
that.
make a note of it, yeah.
It's on the wrong, I'm on the wrong section. Thank you. Trustee guys. Okay, and any of this, like I said, if you have any suggestions or seen something like that, love to make sure that it's typo free in particular. Okay, any other questions?
I think that's great.
Okay, thank you, me too. Okay, then with the general assistance and update on general assistance and emergency assistance.
It's like double.
This, I think that in times have been really tough with the variety of different needs that people have had. We had 25 people come for general assistance. Total assistance was $20,101.97. Food and sundries was $3,832. Rent was, of course, the big one with $12,186. So there's 22 emergency assistance cases, 3 general assistance cases, and 168 caseworker telephone calls. Laura has been extremely busy. And here's the specific disbursements. Any questions on this? Okay, and there's
Is there anything that people are asking for that we don't provide?
one of the things that we're working on finding more community organizations that provide this are gas cards. That's kind of the one constantly asked thing, and Hope's Closet is one of the main places right now that does do gas cards. And there's a next week. The Metropolitan Townships Association is having a general assistance training, which I'm signed up to go to, and make sure that the state has a whole lot of pre-prescribed guidelines for general assistance. So there's a lot of things that are state decided. And the general assistants go along with those. There's some things that we can choose. So we're continuing to understand the best case practices from the state, or from the Township Metropolitan Association. Okay, then updates on grants and that page. Okay, several grants were declined. One is moving forward into an acceptance phase, and we're figuring out all the details on that one. It's very exciting. LARPA, there's two LARPA grants. They're both due on August 1st to DuPage County. One for past receipts of COVID related, and we're working with along with the architects. That was a partial sentence, but we're working on with the architects to make sure that the grant for the community center, which is the rebuild of our old moldy supervisor's office building, is going forward. So we're trying to figure out, okay, if we were to rebuild our building, what exactly could we do so we're continuing to work along with that. And getting to a proposal that is a viable option to make sure that DuPage County understands that we're serious and we can figure out how to do this. Any questions on the grants?
You've been awarded a grant
Yes.
from whom? How much?
That we're in the process and we're not allowed to say the details of this yet. It'll be very public, extremely public in its time as soon as we make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed
And you expect it to be?
very soon. It's within the month. But there's a non-disclosure segment of that grant. So until we've been given the go ahead to disclose, then we have to stay mum. Okay, then there's next is the reports of elected officials. And since I have this page open, I'll start with my supervisor's update. We're working with the NIU Strategic Management of Policy and Community Development Center. Come to find out, the Lisle Woodridge Fire Department worked with them 3 times in the past, and they came highly recommended from our wonderful Chief Creston of the Lisle Fire Department. Surveys of the community will be mailed out we're still working on the timing, but they will be mailed out in between August and September, and given to community members that use our services. So that's 2 different segments of the population, making sure that, for example, the people that come in and use our food pantry or use any of our services, we're going to have a survey to make sure that we're meeting their needs, figuring out what other kind of needs could be potentially met, but making sure that our service is good. Just like when you go to any store, you see like the customer service survey has an option to make sure that they're doing good service. So we're making sure that happens. August 1st, there is a meeting with the NIU Strategically Management Policy and Community Development Center. That is a bit of a mouthful. And Trustee Rose has volunteered to meet with them as well. Our increased communication efforts on social media, the website, physical mailer. Trustee Rose will describe a physical mailer that is being worked up. The idea is for this first year is to have 3 of those physical mailers. We're working out the details, and I'll let Trustee Rose describe some of those. And then email will really work on spreading the word about what we do for the community, and anything new, it'll really create the infrastructure of a good communication system. We're going to be working on recruiting, working with our human resources is our top priority this next month. We're working through the changes in our website, emails, and that takes time and expertise. We are really impressed with the Lisle Intergovernmental Working Group. so many great things are happening in our community with our 202 school district and the 203 school districts, both celebrating their 50-year anniversaries. And the municipality of Lisle really has stepped up in a lot of ways. It was a very exciting June 3rd event with the fireworks and the festivities in the park. And then the Park District, of course, is doing some really amazing things with their 10-year plan. They're going through a time just like us, looking for a 10-year plan. And there's a lot of really great expansions going on in the community, whether they're school buildings that are being renovated. The city of Lisle is focusing on stormwater management. It was a really exciting group to go to and hear from. The one thing I forgot to say is that the fire district the Lisle Woodridge Fire District has a new app on their phones that is being rolled out. It's extremely handy. And so it's free. You can get it on any Android or Apple device. So think about getting the Lisle Woodridge app. Apparently the Lisle Library, which has been going through renovations and doing very well with being open and going through renovations. But they have had an app for 5 years, which is super exciting to hear about.
So is that, what is that exactly is the intergovernmental working group? Is this for just everybody within the community or?
So here's what happens. And I spoke to somebody in Naperville and they're like, oh, that'd be great if Naperville did this, or I tried to spread it to Woodridge or Downers Grove. But right now Lisle does it. And what they do is that the school districts, what we do is 4 times a year, the different school districts that serve the community of Lisle, the Park District, the municipality, the fire district, the library district, they all get together in a boardroom and we discuss about what's going on and how the things in Lisle are going to affect each other, how we can work together, how we can amplify each other's work, and for the betterment of the people that live in Lisle.
Can public attend?
I don't believe so, but I was thinking that I should start printing or start. I really took a ton of notes and was very excited about this, but I was thinking that maybe I should start publishing some of those notes because it's fabulous public service information. And a lot of them are doing a whole lot on their Facebook sites. So started to follow each other and figure out ways that we can work together.
And avoid duplication of services, there's a lot of things you can.
Right.
Bill.
For instance, like the park districts cut the lawns for the village. Don't you have intergovernmental
We
agreement
do
with
with
them?
the village.
Yeah.
Benedictine used to be part of that group. I assume they're still.
Not right now, they haven't been, or maybe they just couldn't meet, or sometimes not everybody can show up, but those are the people that show.
Yeah.
But we definitely would love to work with anyone.
Have you reached out to libraries?
Yes, we definitely have. And libraries are super easy and happy and to work with. I'm a big fan of the libraries and a big user myself. So, I mean, as Trustee McGovern has been working with the Lisle Library, they're a fabulous partner. And they're just a wonderful partner in every way, I think. Okay, and then there is any other questions, sorry?
No, the reason I asked that is that I actually have a good friend of mine is librarian in Downers Grove, and she and I were talking recently, and they have their clientele, they have a need and they have no way to connect the need. So I'm actually going to reach out and have coffee with her.
And that's what we in the future, we're going to be making outreach efforts to the librarians, to the clergies, and to make sure that they now that we can add them to our email list, we can add them to our updates and really spread the information and push it out. Okay, there's a law passed last month called SB 3789. I sent you all the board members to an email about it. What this is we have 18 months to put this into to comply with it. It was passed in June. The township officials of Illinois, the MTA, are all going to do some classes and meetings on this, because when they push out a new law, it doesn't often come with an instruction of how to comply with that new law. And so I invite you all to go to the MTA or to the TOI meetings in particular. And we will be giving the information to the NIU team, who I think will help us work through this together. So we're adding this ability to do this particular requirement. We're adding this to our strategic plan. All of the things that are required are frankly what we're going to be doing in our strategic plan. So we might as well do them together. I expect that ours will be completed by our 10-year plan, when our 10-year plan is completed along with it. And that will be well in advance of the 18-month time limit. Any questions about that? Okay, and any other questions? Okay, wonderful. Then we'll go around. Trustee Rose.
I just wanted to, my only report is just a comment on that special meeting that we had last month. I just wanted to say that I felt like we had a really huge opportunity that was lost due to disinformation. As you know, the supervisor and trustees have been interested in and talking about grants after visiting our neighboring townships and seeing all the things that they've been doing and able to accomplish with the grant money. So much so that we hired a grant writer last November. One of the themes at that special meeting, repeated over and over again, is that government money isn't free. Well, if that's the case, we should tell that to the supervisors of Wayne and Addison Townships who have been utilizing grants in order to expand senior services, expand the food pantry, pave parking lots, beautify outdoor spaces, and buy property. I understand that this is a new concept to Lisle Township, as maybe no other board ever took the time to research and write a grant proposal, but this one did. And lucky for us, we still have some grants pending. I think the new township website up as of today which has the ability to collect email addresses for digital newsletters to help provide information that we're doing. We also have a mailer for the township residents that will educate them on all things township, keep them informed as to what we are working on, and provide data on the numbers of residents that we serve. These two critical pieces of communication should help keep residents informed without having the need for next door. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Rose. And just one note, Clerk Polowitz sent us the special minutes for the meeting for the special township meeting, but we were advised by our attorney that we have to have the moderator and the clerk sign off on those, on the particular minutes. So that's how those need to be handled for the special town halls and the town halls. And then the newsletter will have two different versions, one for the unincorporated areas and one for the incorporated areas, because they're handled differently. And we can, of course, work with the highway district if they would like to. Okay, then Trustee Geist.
I don't have an update, but I do want to make sure that we're really maximizing the skills of all of the elected trustees when it comes to special projects. Because when we find out about them in a meeting or that they've been assigned, it's like, oh, well, that would have been interesting. So it would be good to know when there's opportunities and we can say, hey, is this something you're interested in? Maybe we can figure out like a channel of communication for that. So just making a note of it.
Thank you, Trustee Geist. Trustee McGovern.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee McGovern. Trustee Page.
Nothing to report.
How's the garden going?
The garden is weedy. All right.
Really?
It's very weedy.
Oh,
It's been a slow season. The weather was not cooperative from the beginning. We finally gotten the plants and I physically cannot go and do much right now, but that's improving. But it is growing. They're turning, I'm connected to the Facebook. They are turning in pounded. The weight is coming in pounds now. So that's a happy thing, but we need better weather. We need better weather.
Your mouth to the higher ups.
what do you guys use for the weed control?
Nothing. This is completely organic. We use our brawn. We don't use any.
So but vinegar and baking soda. would be
No,
organic. No.
no, that's something we actually learned that people say
It's not?
salt and hot water, it actually ruins the soil. like,
That's good to know, because I use it.
it's kind of like, it's almost like a homemade Roundup, which, people believe, oh, you could just dump it out, it'll be fine. It'll kill the weeds, but it'll kill your soil too. In some
That's good
cases.
to know,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing a good thing.
So
Not
we are
using Roundup.
concentrating on weeding, actually, I believe it's the 17th of this month. We have, if anybody out there in TV land is willing to come and weed, we're having a day of weeding.
Wonderful. And I think there is one on Sunday, the 17th, 9 to 11, if I recall right.
Something like, yeah, I'll double check with the chair of the garden and see. I could look on their Facebook page.
And we can now put it on the news section of our new website.
Yay, that's a happy thing.
Awesome.
But I walked back there before we had our meeting today and it looks good, but we could use better.
Maybe we can provide coffee or donuts or something.
Or free vegetables.
Or free vegetables. Or that.
Thank you, trustee.
More
Pate.
water, less heat.
Yes, ma'am. It has been,
Is that what causes all the weeds?
No, I personally, I think the weeds are partly because we use manure. My understanding is that if you take fresh manure and put it down, and we do ours in the fall, like it's full of seeds that the animals are eating.
Oh,
whereas
yeah.
I believe that there are such a thing as like firewood would be like seasoned, there's like seasoned manure, so it's something we're all discussing.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
I'm just looking for tips.
Yeah.
thank you, trustee Page. Assessor Trowbridge.
No report, thank you.
Thank you, Assessor Trowbridge. Highway Commissioner Young.
The internal operations are going along well. What I'm concerned about is, you may have heard about a strike at the quarries around town. Operating engineers 1050 are on strike. And that's affecting all construction. So for paving and for concrete, it may be a lot. We may not even get done. That's the worst case. The streets, but everybody is facing the same situation. Strike, I think it's been going on 3 weeks now, maybe 4. And from what I heard today from the county, they're not anywhere closer today than they were 4 weeks ago. But that might be better for driving around town. You don't have that many construction projects. That's all.
Thank you, Highway Commissioner Young. Okay, then we'll go to the audit of expenditures.
I move that we, let me say it right. I move that we move to the audit.
Thank you, trustee Peach. A second.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Rose. Then we'll go with a roll call vote.
Supervisor Hewitt,
Aye.
trustee Rose,
Aye.
trustee Geis,
Aye.
trustee McGovern,
Aye.
trustee Page.
Aye.
Thank you. And we're at the audit.
I'll make a motion to approve the audit of expenditures.
Thank you,
I'll
trustee
second.
Rose. Thank you, trustee Page. And then clerk Powers.
Supervisor Hewitt,
Aye.
trustee Rose,
Aye.
trustee Geis,
Aye.
trustee McGovern,
Aye.
trustee Page.
Aye.
The expenditures have been approved. Does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Page and trustee Geist. We are adjourned and we'll see you all next month. And thank you for the pictures.
I'm not, listen, I'm
gonna
gonna
go